Hi, my name is Sky Stewart, and today I'm going to be taking you through an area of effective leadership. These qualities and principles can be found in the business realm, but specifically, we're going to be talking about these within the church leadership context. So, our main focus today is building up leaders, and so we're going to go through 4 areas of that, which is identifying those leaders, calling forth, training and equipping, and engaging leaders. The real backbone of this presentation is the idea that real leaders produce leaders. So, leaders who want to be the star of the show and do everything themselves and not train someone up in the way that they should go are not real leaders, and they're not good leaders, and their ministry will ultimately fizzle out or fail because they haven't produced any leadership within that to take over their spot eventually or to even help them out with their ministry. So let's get started. So within identifying potential leaders, there's a couple things to look for. So the first are assets on hand. So who are the people already in leadership in your congregation who are available to fill a certain need? And we're not necessarily talking about people who already have leadership roles, but they're already leading in their own capacity. And so that is a specific thing to look for. Who is available to fill this need? So then you're going to look at the ability of your candidates. Who has the gifts and talents to fill that role specifically of your need? The next is their attitude. So who's willing to fill the role, and who's going to have a good attitude about it and be happy and not bring a team down, because that's super important as well in building a good team. And so you want leaders who are not going to bring your team down. And so the next is the accomplishments of the candidate. So not necessarily their resume, but who gets things done. Who do you already know that when they're asked something, they're just willing and able, and they do it well? So you're going to want to look at that as well. Really just look for individuals with good attitudes who are already displaying influence among others in the congregation and who relate well with others and who have a servant's heart, because that's the heart of those who follow Christ, is to serve and love and relate and influence for Christ. So the next thing is calling forth those leaders. So once you've identified them, you're going to want to go talk to them and ask them if they'd be willing. So the first thing is, like, if you're a pastor in this sense, you have to initiate contact with the person in whom that value is seen. And then you have to actually demonstrate real interest in them and in their potential. So not just, can you do something for me? Can you be helpful? But like truly showing interest in them, in their lives, and who Christ has made them to be. And the last thing, which is crazy important that I didn't always think of, which is that the pastor must be secure enough in themselves to allow others to succeed. So insecure pastors are never going to spot potential or point out potential or develop that potential. And their personal insecurity is going to cause them to continue promoting themselves and their ministry over the people that they are ministering to. So this could be student leaders, these could be adult leaders, but you have to be secure enough in yourself to allow others to succeed. So next is training and equipping leaders. So adults and youth too as well must be trained and equipped if they are able to minister to effectively in the role of being a servant leader. And so really that means training, utilizing, and providing real and fulfilling ministry opportunities. So this is where I know I've gotten it wrong as a pastor myself, is that sometimes I tend to see people as a workforce and that they are able to help me accomplish a goal, and not really for who Christ has called them to be and the abilities that they have and what is inside of their hearts to see happen. And so you want to see people as important, and you want them to buy into your vision and direction of your ministry and be able to allow their input and not just their labor, because that's really unhealthy. And so your goal is really to train and empower a few leaders who will be able to train others and take on responsibilities of ministry, who are going to be self-sustainable. My advice is really just to start with that core group of people, whether it's adult leaders or student leaders, and equip them for leadership. That's investing into them, pouring into them, and just training them for the things that they feel called to do within your ministry. And honestly, I can promise you're going to see great return. And the last thing is engaging your leaders. So this is just super important for morale and to show them that they're so loved. And so, do they feel known? Do your leaders that you now have in your ministry feel that their job and their role matter? And do they know how to gauge their own success? Can they see for themselves how they're making a difference? And so that could be simply just pointing out specific students or people within your church that they've impacted, testimonies that have come out because of what they've done in the ministry and within the church, and really just pouring into them, investing into them, showing them how important they are. It's super important. So thank you so much. And this has been a teaching within effective leadership on building leaders.